Everybody, we are going live. Howard Towner, good to see you here. Don Ferguson, a few familiar faces joining us here live. So just touching base and making sure that we've got a few people joining us. So welcome to the Business Unleashed live podcast. Now, this for some people might be the very first episode. For others, I've been doing this for quite some time. Mike Corso, good to see you here. Nice to have you here. I'm actually shooting this live on location. You'll notice that this is a real thing. I don't know how to prove it's real, but the ocean is just behind me. The Pacific Ocean is behind me. I'm in a place called Coolangatta. To my American cousins, it's called Coolangatta. It's on the east coast of Australia. Temperature right now is about 90 degrees. Water temperature is about 86 degrees. It's a little bit breezy, a little bit choppy, but I intend to go paddleboarding straight after this live. But welcome to the Business Unleashed Live podcast. So let me share a little bit about what's happening here. I'm just making sure that we are streaming live as we speak, or at least I hope I'm going live as we speak. And it doesn't look like I am, but I'll just continue on for those who are joining me right now. I wanted to do this to kind of have the talk conversation every day. And really, when we're talking about business, there's kind of three components to the functionality of the business. The first component is the ability for us to acquire customers. The second component is for us to be able to maximize revenue earnings per client in terms of what we're generating as revenue per client. And the third aspect of that is that frequency aspect, or that retention aspect, so that we can actually create a situation where we actually scale and we grow. And so ultimately, we're in a world, especially if we're in the digital marketing space, if you're coaching, you're consulting, you've got some skills and you've got some experience. We're in the world of solving key problems. And now in the marketing space, we have very significant opportunities. We've just come through, or we're still in the middle of a pandemic. That isn't going away. There's inoculations going on. There's vaccines happening right now. But the world is still a little bit upside down, or a little bit crazy in terms of what's happening. And that doesn't mean that we stop working or we stop doing things. But what it has done is it has created a very, very significant opportunity for those people who are offering services in our space, or in the digital marketing space, or in the improved space, because right now people actually need help. They need a lot of help. People need to reassess their planning, reassess their future in terms of where they're heading in their business. They've got to look at things like innovating. They've got to look at things like what are they adding value to in relation to the sustainability of their business. Now, I know the lighting's a little bit dark here, so but I am here at the moment, so that's actually not coming up in the live stream. But anyway, I might as well keep going for those who have joined me here. I really appreciate you hanging with me. But the other thing I also want to do is I want to be able to answer your questions. Christopher Lacey, Susan Jenkins, good to see you here. Avery, good to have you here. So if you're watching this later or watching the recording, this is being recorded. It is being streamed out live to our channels. But the real key here is I wanted to just talk business, right? And when we say talk business, we're bringing in our human element in that process. So we're bringing in our mindset, the way we think, the way we operate, the way we solve problems, the way we, what it is that we're meant to be doing. What's the purpose of, or the meaning in our business to the market? Who are we serving? How are we adding value? What are some of the challenges that we have to overcome in ourselves, or maybe what we have to overcome in the learnings along the way to be able to do what we do very well? Now, feel free, if you've got questions about business or strategy or those sorts of things. There are core functions. A lot of those people who know me, we talk about this a lot. There are 5 things that you need to master in your business to sustain it. Doesn't matter what business you're in, you kind of have to master these 5 key areas. Number 1, you've got to master lead generation for yourself. You've got to have the ability to engage a market consistently. That's number 1. Number 2 is you've got to nurture those leads. You've got to build a relationship. We're waving here. We've got a few photo bombers in the background waving away. We've got to actually nurture. We've got to build relationships, communicate. Nobody's just going to jump out of the boat and buy what you have to offer unless they've got some context, unless they've been indoctrinated, unless they actually know you and have that built relationship. So the lead nurture aspect of business is really key. The next piece that's really critical is your ability to sell, the optimization of your sales process. Actually having a sales process will maximize your opportunity to convert clients. You need to break this down. If we looked at each area of the business, my questions will revolve around how you're getting your leads, how you're nurturing those leads, what's the conversion rate to sale, and then the last part is delivery, right? The fourth aspect is delivery. It's not the last part, it's the fourth aspect is delivery. How do we deliver our promise? What systems, processes that we need in place to onboard clients, to manage clients' expectations, to communicate with clients, to make sure that we have the system process to get a result for our clients. These are the things that we want to know and we want to do really well to maximize our opportunity to be able to succeed in any market, right? So, and the last aspect is probably the most critical, and it's the one that creates the biggest bang for buck and impact to any business on the planet. And that is your ability to retain, to resell, and to upsell your clients, to maximize earning revenue per client, to make sure the clients are aware of all the services you provide, and to make sure the client is investing in your ecosystem, in your business model, right? So there's three different people that where I guess that generally come to sessions like these. There are people who are kind of just starting out, trying to figure things out, trying to get things rocking and rolling. We will always have those people that we are grateful for in the fact that you're being entrepreneurial and you're bringing value and you're opening up the business. That's number one. The second person that we're kind of speaking to is the freelancer. Now, freelancer is you're delivering the service. So you're the salesperson, you're the deliverer, the customer service person, you're the project manager, you're the strategist, you're the business administrator, you're the lead generator, you're everything. You're the chief everything officer, the CEO, and fulfillment. So that is the second person is a freelancer. If you're freelancing, you're consulting, if you're providing advice and you're getting paid on the hour or for project, you're a freelancer. And that is the second group of people. And the third group of people is the business owner. The business owner or the agency owner is a person who has a team. You have a project manager, you might have salespeople, you might have appointment setters, you might have account managers, you might have specialists who are actually delivering for you or doing fulfillment for you. You might have admin, you might have marketing, you might have other components. So you're actually growing a team and you're scaling your business. And there's a couple of things that I want you to be aware of in terms of the stages of growth of any business, especially if in our business where we are the person delivering to the market. The first milestone that we all have to overcome is the milestone of our headspace of our mindset. We need to be able to generate a relatively comfortable income, an income that allows us to scale, an income that allows us to have a level of comfort and to live a life. And generally the number that people quote when they're talking about the milestone number is this 10K a month, right? If I can earn $10,000 a month, that's 120K a year, I'm golden, right? But one thing it's taken into consideration to earn 10K a month, that's purely in the headspace. Because really it's only like 2 clients paying you $5 a month. It's 5 clients paying you $2 a month, or it's 10 clients paying you, 7 clients paying you $1,500 a month. It's 10 clients paying you $1,000 a month. 10K a month. Now I'm saying monthly recurring. We're going to talk about different pricing models and revenue strategies throughout the talks that I have on a daily basis on this podcast. So that's the first milestone. Is we've got to get ahead. We're going to get to this stage of I got to earn $10 a month. $10 a month gives you a living, right? It's a job. You're going to have some responsibility, and you're going to work. And you're probably going to work a little bit hard to get to that place because you're learning in that process. So that's the first milestone. The second milestone, so by the way, if you want to make $10,000 a month on average for yourself personally to spend, you've got to be generating about 15 to 20 grand a month. You've got to be doing 15, 20 grand a month if you want to keep 10 net for yourself, taking out costs of doing business, right? Because one of the mistakes a lot of people make in the early stages of the business is they treat their business account, their business bank account, like a personal bank account. And you need to separate the two. Your business bank account is a business bank account. What you take out of the business account is your income. Whatever money you take out, it's not all the revenues your income, because what the mistake that a lot of people make is they end up in a situation where they start owing the IRS or the tax accountant, and you end up in trouble where you get this bill for 30 or 40 grand, not realizing that you had to pay some tax along the week, a year. So quick note, your personal bank account is not your business bank account, right? Your business bank account is for business. Your personal account is separated from your business account. Always separate the two, and you should always be paying yourself a salary, paying yourself first, like you're an employee of your own company, right? So first milestone, 10K a month. It's a mindset milestone. Go and get a handful of clients. It is not difficult to do to reach that milestone. It's just getting your head around what you do, what you service, what you offer, and making that offer and getting people work for you. It's actually quite easy to get to 10K a month, right? It is actually quite easy to do that. Like I said, it's more about what you think rather than what you do, right? The second milestone that people want to reach is that $1 million milestone, right? I want to hit $1 million bucks. The $1 million is a magic number. The $1 million is a magic number, right? So it's just a number, because I know lots of $1 million businesses that are broke, right? I know businesses that are generating $1 million, but they're losing 10 grand a month. So they're actually making a loss of 120 grand a year, making $1 million. That's insane, right? So $1 million is just a number. And what it takes to build $1 million business is 27 clients at 3K a month paying you $36,000 a year. That's 27 clients paying you 36 grand a year. That's $1 million. $84,000 a month is $1 million run rate, right? It could be 20 clients paying you 5 grand a month, 20 clients paying you 50 grand, right? It could be 10 clients paying you 10 grand. It could be 10 clients paying you 10 grand a month, right? $100,000 clients, right? 1.2 million, 10 grand a month. That's $1 million business. Now, the focus of going from that 10K to 84K, it's 80% sales and marketing, 20% fulfillment. 80% sales and marketing, 20% fulfillment, right? All you got to do is sell, sell, sell. And what you're going to do is you're going to buy fulfillment, because you're raising revenue, and each time you generate sales, you generate profitability. You can always buy project managers, you can buy account managers, you can buy services to support the business, right? But to get to $1 million run rate, you've got to spend 80% of your time just doing sales and marketing. So that means in the 5 categories of your business, in lead generation, lead nurture, sales conversion, delivery, and retain, resell, upsell, you've got to focus on the first 3 areas: lead generation, lead nurture, and sales conversion. Lead generation, lead nurture, and sales conversion, right? Who are you serving? How are you making those appointments and get them into your calendar? And then how do you convert them into sales from the offer that you make to the market? 80%, right? Front end, sales and marketing. You get to $1 million. Now, once you get to $1 million, you've got to switch hats. Now you're going to hire, you're actually going to start turn from that sales leader, right, to a business owner, because now you have to leverage through a team. If you want to scale from $1 million to 5 million, you're going to have to hire a team. You're going to have to build a sales team. You're going to have to build appointment centers. You're going to have to build marketing people. You're going to have systems and processes. You're actually going to work on fine tuning that structure of your business, because once you hit $1 million, you know how to hit 5, right? Once you've done $1 million, you know how to hit 5. You've got to leverage and scale what you're doing, right? The only way to leverage and scale what you do is you're going to need to hire people, right? You're going to need to hire people. It's very difficult, very, very difficult to build a $1 million business on your own without help. It is very difficult, right? Seth Godin, I was having a bit of a listen to a conversation he was having with a friend of his on a particular episode of a friend of mine's podcast. And even Seth Godin says, dude, it's very hard to make $1 million on your own in business. It's very hard, right? It's not, there are the exceptions to the rule, but it's a challenge. It means you're going to have to hire people to scale. You need help. You need to bring in team as part of business. So they're the 3 milestones you're going to have to achieve. The first milestone is a mindset milestone. The second milestone is a sales and marketing milestone. And the third milestone is a leadership milestone. Now, just to give you some percentages, only 3% ever make it to $1 million. So out of every 100 people that start a business, only 3 out of every 100 people will ever get to $1 million business. Only 3 out of every 100, right? Now, to get to a $5 million business, only 1% of those who get to $1 million ever get to 5 million. Only 1%, 1 in every 100 business owner that runs a $1 million business will ever get to 5 million, right? Now, there's a reason for this, and I'll tell you what the reason. It's a really simple thing. The reason why most people don't make it to $1 million is because they haven't made a decision to generate $1 million business. It needs a decision, because what you're doing at 6 figures is what it's going to cost you to run $1 million business. It's that simple, right? It's just maths. It is simple maths. That's all it is. You're playing the game of numbers, right? So understand, to go from 100K to $1 million, it's a decision. You're going to make a decision, say, this is what I'm going to do. This is why it's important. This is why I'm going to go for it. And once you've made that decision, then you've got to make a commitment to the incremental steps along the way to hit those outcomes, right? So there's actually two sides of the decision. There's two aspects from the decision aspect. The second aspect is the clarity piece, being super clear as to why you want to achieve that outcome, why it's important to do that. If you don't have the clarity piece as to why that's important, then it doesn't become important. You're not going to do it. Doesn't matter how hard you try, you're not going to want to do it. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work. You're out, right? The second piece in that puzzle is that commitment piece. Why are you committed to this? Why is it something so important that you need to breathe, right? Just like you're breathing, you need to do this. You need to get there, right? You've got to have your reasons, your personal reasons as to why that is important, right? What is going to happen? What is the outcome for you by hitting those milestones? What is the impact of those around you? What is the impact for you personally, right? How does that impact you spiritually, health-wise, finance-wise, lifestyle-wise, relationship-wise? Why? Why is this important, right? So there are two things so I'll say three things. Number one, you've got to make a decision to get it done. If you don't make that decision to get it done, then it doesn't matter what you do, you're just literally meandering along in life. The second part is you've got to be super clear about this thing that you're doing in business, this game that you're playing, because this game is probably the greatest you will ever make in personal development. A business is a very, very expensive acquisition in personal help, right? It's probably the biggest personal development investment you're ever going to make is start a business. Because let me tell you, it's going to cost you. Are you going to fail? Absolutely, guaranteed. I'm going to guarantee you're all going to fail along the way. Are you going to have some wins along the way? If you are persistent and learn your lessons, absolutely, I guarantee you're all going to have wins along the way. Are you going to have moments where you're going to get fed up? Absolutely, you're going to get fed up. It's life. You, as a person, bring yourself to business. You bring you, no one else, right? No one else brings you, but you bring you to business, right? So understand that if you're clear about why you're doing this in the first place, if you've got some meaning behind this, and you need to be resourced because you need to make some profit, right? And you need to make sure that you have a sense of the fact that this is giving you some sense of freedom and ownership and control of your life and the decisions that you make, then you're going to get great outcomes for yourself. You're going to learn those lessons and move through the process, right? So at the end of the day, some questions you want to answer for yourself. What are you committed to in terms of this business, right? Why is that important to you, right? And what are you actually doing? What are you delivering to the market? What are you offering? Because I know if I look at, there's the old added scenario, knock on enough doors, make the same offer over and over again, and eventually somebody's going to say yes, right? That's a war of attrition. But today we have the ability to leverage that message to thousands of people if we choose the right strategies to do so, right? And so at the end of the day, one thing I have discovered in business is that if you're not making an offer to anybody, whether that be leveraged or specifically to an individual, you're not in business. You're not opening a door to doing business. And I know a lot of small businesses are failing at this. Even in our world, they are failing at this concept of not making an offer to the market. If you cannot honestly look yourself in the mirror and say, I've got this offer on the table in front of somebody today, then today you're not in business. Today you're not in business, right? So where can people engage with your offer? Where can they see what you've got to offer and who are you offering it to? That's really the crux of it. Same with the clients that you serve. Most small businesses don't have an offer right now. Nobody can see the offer. They've got nothing on the table. They're not advertising. They're not promoting their offer in the social media. They're not engaging customers. There's no offer on the table. If there's no offer on the table, people can't buy. If they can't buy, then you're out of business. The number one thing in business today is you need to be visible. And if you are in the marketing space, marketing makes you visible. Marketing makes you visible. And you need to invest in that. It's not free. There are certainly free things you can do to generate revenue through marketing strategy, marketing tactics. But marketing isn't free because if there's time involved, well, there's a cost to that, right? And that's the thing. The question that you want to ask yourself, who's my offer sitting in front of today? I sat down with somebody today and we talked about a concept in business of the cycles, right? A business gets really busy and then it stops marketing and stops generating clients because it gets busy. And so what it does is it reacts, and then they get busy, they lose their clients, so they finish the projects, then they've got to go get more projects. So they have to start the marketing wheel again, and it takes time to go and get clients. The problem with that scenario is that it's a zero-sum game. You're never, ever going to grow if you go stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. You've always got to be marketing. You've always got to be selling. You've always got to be bringing in new customers. And so if you're in the consulting or the agency or the marketing business game, the game you want to play is to generate a customer every 10 days. That is your worst case scenario. Your worst case scenario is to bring in a brand new paying customer every 10 days. That gives you 3 clients a month. That gives you 36 clients a year. 15 of those are probably going to leave you, and you're going to be left with 19 to 20 clients. 19 to 20 clients at 30 grand a pop, that's a $600,000 a year business. 1 client every 10 days, 3 grand a month, or $36,000 per client, right? That's a 600 grand business. So that's the goal that you want to play, is 1 client every 10 days. So what is it going to take? What do you got to do in a 10-day period to get that 1 customer? Now, here's the other, this is something else that I need you to be mindful of in business, right? The other thing I'd like you to be mindful of is that if you do not bring a client on board in a month period, in a 30-day period, you're not eating, right? Your business isn't eating, right? If you don't bring a client on in a 60-day period, you're out. If you can't bring a customer on in 2 months, you are out. You're not working. It is impossible. If you are actively, if you are making offers, going out to the market, engaging, doing something, it is impossible for you not to generate a client every 60 days. It is impossible, right, to do that, right? It's only possible because you're not working. You're certainly not working on the right things, right? Now, I know this might sound like a bit of a downer or a dour, but this is what's going on. This is the real world in this business world, right? So at the end of the day, there are, a couple of things, what are you offering, who are you offering it to, and how can they buy it from you, right? You need to answer those questions, right? The simplicity of this business is you've got to have experience. You've got to have knowledge and understanding to solve that problem. You need to know how to fix what it is that you're selling. If you can't, if you don't know how to do it, then you're out, because nobody should buy what you have to offer. So you've got to have some skills. You've got to have some knowledge, but you only need the fundamentals. So one of the cool things about this business is it has a really low barrier to entry, right? I can start my digital marketing agency with I don't even need a domain name for my digital marketing agency. I don't even need a name. I don't need to spend any money at all. I just need to make an offer, right? It's free to start this business, right? If you want to register this business, it's going to cost you 30 to 100 bucks, depending on what structure you place, in the market. $10 for a domain name, right? $5 for a hosting account, or $29 for a monthly subscription to a landing page provider, right? It's not expensive to run this business. It has a low barrier to entry. And the other cool thing about this business is that you can hire people very quickly who've got some skills and knowledge to deliver. So what you need to do is just understand the fundamentals, right? The fundamentals of what you do to help people. And so in knowing those fundamentals, it means that you understand what the problem is first. And most people in this game, they either get into the lead generation game, right? The social media content creation game, the SEO game, like ranking and Googling my business and doing that sort of stuff, or they're copywriting, they're running emails, right? And they undercharge for their services because you're learning the client's time. That's what's happening here, because you're learning, right? You're paying to get to learn. You're being paid to learn in this business. That's why this business is fantastic, right? Because the more people, the more clients you bring on, more experience you get, the faster you grow, the more you start charging, the bigger you start to grow your business, you start to realize some of the lessons you learn, and away you go in terms of business, right? So one thing that you want to be mindful of is that you've got to have some sense of a plan of what you want to do. There's a lot of easy things. I generally find that if you're looking for customers right now and you need a client, the best place to go is your familiar list, letting people know that you can help people right now with what you do and asking people who they know who might need that help. That is the easiest way to get clients. It is the fastest way to get clients. It is the easiest way to get clients, is from the people that you know, right? The next is your social connections and your networks. Add some value, let people know, teach people what you know, and you're going to get clients, right? One of the easiest ways to get clients is to show people how something works and then ask them, can you fix it for them? Can you do this for them? It's one of the easiest ways to generate revenue and clients. So these are 2 ways you can go get customers. If you want customers now, that's the fastest way to get it, right? You'll get it. You can get a client today, right? The other thing is show people that you have a path or a framework to solve a particular problem. So whatever problem you're solving, right, show people that you have a path or a framework to solve that problem, right? Because if you can do that, then you're opening the door to creating those sorts of outcomes, right? If you can do that, you're opening the door to creating those outcomes to share with people how they can maximize their opportunity to get an outcome or result with what you do, right? So at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're very clear about what you're doing. You want to make sure that you are making connections, engagements every day. You want to be offering every single day. And you want to learn, you want to make sure that you're improving your capability to deliver in the market. So I'm happy to answer some questions. I know people are joining me on the Zooms. If you want to join me on the Zoom, just go to businessunleashedlive.com and that'll give you the Zoom link to come and join me on the Zooms where you can ask me questions directly. If you've got questions in the Facebook group, I will answer questions in the Facebook group for you on the live. But ultimately here, if you want me to help you out, one of the easiest ways to get my help to get some clarity, get some structure, is just type a question in the chat on the side here. I'm actually monitoring the chats here. If you have a question, let me answer your question. If you have a question around lead gen, if you have a question around lead nurture to generate appointments, if you have a question around sales conversion, if you have a question around delivery, or you have a question around retain, resell, upsell, just type in the chat if you have a question. I've got a whole bunch of people sitting in front of me. I'm more than happy to answer these questions to be able to help you to move the needle. So Mike, Andrew, Ed, Avery, if you have a question, just type it into the chat. I'm going to give you a moment whilst the Zoom is picking you up here and making sure that that we are helping out here. So hopefully you can hear me. If you can hear me, put your thumbs up. I can see on the screen. Some people are hearing me. Yeah, we've got a thumbs up. So questions about either lead gen, lead nurture, sales conversion, delivery, or retain, resell, upsell, or question about strategy or business, just ask your question in the chat here and I will answer your question for you. And if you like, I'll even unmute and we can hop on the microphone, we can hop on the call if you're here with me, and we can go through helping you out directly here. Because one of the reasons I wanted to do this and hop on is to be able to help people move the needle, get their mindset right, give them some specific tactical things they need to focus on to make sure that you maximize your opportunity. So if you have a question, and it doesn't sound like anybody's got any questions, which is great, but you can be the first. Howard Tiano, you got a question? Ask the question, mate. Good to see you here.
Okay, good to see you too. Thanks for doing this. Hey, so I've been working with, or I've been working on the remodeling industry, which is really a broad industry that really has a lot of subsets to it. You know, roofers, solar, kitchen remodels, bath, etc. So I've been working with the my Go High Level offer, lead management, and adding some value add to that, like campaigns and such. So I've been doing cold email. I've been doing a little bit of LinkedIn. They're not really on LinkedIn. They're not really on Facebook, but I've been doing cold email. And I'm just having a hard time connecting with them. And I just think I need to really narrow it down to a sub niche like the roofers or solar or something. And so it's been very frustrating. And I've gone through the warm list and looked at their stuff, and I don't want to get into the trap of doing 10 different services for 10 different guys and, get into that trap again. So I've been a little bit stuck.
Okay. So, and the question you're asking, Howard, this happens to a lot of people, right? They're using cold email as a strategy to reach out to people, not getting the feedback or the connection. But one thing I will say, Howard, is we're trying to build a relationship. We're trying to build a relationship. And we're also trying to build a level of relevancy. And if we're going out to the cold market, sometimes we can get lucky. We can make a very direct offer where somebody can reply or respond very quickly. And then we can get into the weeds of starting that conversation. Let's get on the phone, let's talk, right? So there is a sense of luck. So there's a couple of things that I want to unpack for you here. The contractor market or the remodeling market is a huge market, and there are several players in that market. The way those businesses work, some of those businesses, they are used to buying leads. They're used to spending lots of money buying leads, right? And they're playing the filtering game. And in that game, they're very bad at following up. They're very bad at selling. They're very price-driven or margin-driven. And they look at leads like a commodity. They look at leads like a commodity because they've learned by the nature of all the people that provide those services to the market learnt leads have a cost, right? There's a certain acquisition cost, and they could be as cheap as $1, or they can be as expensive as $800, right, or more, right?
Yeah.
That's the range, right? So my thing is if I knew, right, let's say for example, I'm going to pick roofers as an example, but it doesn't matter who you pick. There's a website that's called houzz.com, HOUZZ.com. There's more than 5 million businesses on that website. The first 5 pages of that website in every category in the market that you're talking about is spending 30 grand just to be on Houzz, right? The first 5 pages, they're spending about $30,000 just to be on the first 5 pages. They're paying that a year to be on Houzz. So they're spending money. Who do you want to do business with? You want to do business with people already spending money, right? Now, if they're buying leads or if they're spending money and you're talking about lead management, then you want to be talking about, you want to be sitting there saying, hey, biggest frustration is you don't know how many deals you're losing, and you're losing because your systems or your processes are not automated, and 90% of businesses don't automate. They don't automate, one, because they don't know, 2, they just don't realize how much they're losing because they're in the weeds of doing what they're doing. I know this for a fact, Howard, because I know a lot of people that service this market, and they'll tell you the same story over and over again. So the idea of automating your ability to manage leads and also convert leads is a very attractive conversation, right? But we've got to put it into the context of what the person is doing. So for me, I'd be sitting there saying, hey, I've got a plan and a structure and a process. If you're frustrated by lack of conversion, loss of sales opportunities, tire kickers, if these are the things that are bothering you, I'd love to show you how to stop that from happening. All I want to know is yes or no. I'm going to introduce myself very quickly. So this is what I do. I help you stop the loss of sales opportunities. I help you manage your leads better to get better quality filtered opportunities. And I also can help you to automate the follow-up process so you minimize any risk or loss of business. My question to you is, would that be useful to you? I'm going to reach out to you, introduce myself personally, just touch base, just so we can get to know each other a little bit better. But I'd love to share that plan with you, where show you exactly the framework so that you don't lose opportunities. Now, as a business owner, I would imagine that would be something worthwhile having a conversation about. So what I've just done here, Howard, if you go back to this recording, I've literally just done you a script.
That's the messaging I've been using. You've told me this like 10 times already. I mean, you know, and that's the messaging.
So follow it up, pick up. So what I would do now is I'd have the conversation, pick up the phone and say, listen, I sent this to you. I don't know if this is relevant to you, but if you can give me 60 seconds, I want to introduce myself, right? You've got to have a conversation. You've got to start talking.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or ask, do you want the system, right? Do you want the system? Do you want the flow, right? They got to get to know you. You've got to build that relationship. So the email can't be the same email all the time, right? I can pick up a phone and say, listen, you might not be ready right now, but can I send you the latest tactical things that are closing deals right now? Would you be happy just to receive that if I send them to you? And every now and again, I'm going to touch base with you and see, maybe look at opportunities of where we can close some deals. Are you cool with that? Yes or no? I can get 100 people to say yes to that request, Howard. Now I've got 100 people who I'm going to be nurturing every month with, hey, what about this month? What about, hey, I'm working with a client and we did this thing. We launched the automation. We're already starting to see appointments. Would you like to see it work for you? And make that offer again, right? We need to build a relationship. We need to find the give. We need to solve the problem. We need to get into their ear, right? We can't do one-shot deals. We've got, you know, people don't know me from Adam. I spoke to somebody today. I closed the deal at 5 a.m. this morning. I asked the person, how did you know me? Oh, I've been listening to your stuff for ages. So in listening to their stuff for ages, if I had just rocked up one day and said, hey, I'm really good at what I do, shall we work together? I probably wouldn't make that sale, right? Because I don't know who I am.
Right.
So if you don't establish your brand equity in that person's mind, hey, let's get on the phone. Let's get to know each other. Let's talk. Let's talk business, dude. Let's talk numbers, right? Let's add value. Have that conversation. I'll guarantee you'll pick up more clients.
Right? Would you recommend?
What we're doing is, I'd be having conversations everywhere. I'd be having conversations in LinkedIn. I'd be having conversations in Facebook. I'd be having conversations directly. I'd be picking up the phone. You've got nothing better to do but to hustle to get a client, right?
Yeah.
You've got nothing better to do but to hustle to get a client. So you do that every day, a little bit every day, you're going to get a client. You've gotten clients in the past. You know how to do this, right? But the frustration comes from Maybe I need to adjust the message. Maybe I'm saying too much. Maybe I'm not saying enough. Maybe I need to ask a question. You know, I had a conversation with some of the guys that we're working with today, and one of the scripts that somebody says is, "Hey, I'm from the association of the calls that you don't want, and today this is the call you don't." That's how they start the conversation. "Hey, I'm from the association that represents the calls that you don't want to have, and this is one of those calls." And then, of course, what does the person do, Howard? They laugh, right? They go, "Oh, that's really funny," right? And they break the ice, right? And they say, "Look, I'm just here to add value. I want to just quickly introduce myself. Don't know where this is going to go, but let's just start this. If we can start this conversation, if I can provide you thing that supports what you're looking for, I want to help people like you. Would that be something that might be worthwhile having a conversation about? Yes or no?" And in most cases, Howard, they say yes, right? And then they start that conversation. Then they go, "Great, let's get to know each other a little bit better. You know, let me ask you a few questions. What can I help you with? What can I send?" Provide a few ideas, right? You can pick up clients very quickly just doing that, right? Very quickly just doing that, right? Be open for business. You know, I know you're actively engaging. I know you're doing that, but you can't allow one email to do the heavy lifting, right? You've got to angle it up a little bit. Pick an aspect of what you talk about and say, "Hey, I'm noticing this is what people do. I'm not sure, but if you get out of every 10 deals, if you're only closing 2, if the average deal is worth $15,000, you're losing $80,000 every time you close 2 deals, right? Have you worked out? Imagine if you're losing 80 grand every month. That's $920,000 a year in deals. Do that over 3 years, and you're losing $1 million, $3 million worth of opportunities, right? Have you ever done the numbers? We talk about capturing that money and putting in your bank account. Can we have a talk about that? There's another offer, right?
Yeah, well, you can't really count the growth revenues. You gotta, these roofers are only making 2 or 3 grand on a roof.
Yeah, so if you're making 2 or 3 grand on the roof, well, that's the shitty roofers. I know roofers will do a lot better than that. The storm chasers are making 2 or 3 grand. The people who are decent roofers are actually making about between 4 and 6, right? But here's the deal, right? At the end of the day, right? Okay, so let's say out of every 10 deals, you're making 3 grand, right? What's $30,000 that you lose? If you actively did 10 pitches and you only got 2, you are actively losing 30 grand. You do that every month, right? That's $360,000 a year. You do that for 3 years. That's nearly $1 million, right? But it's money that you could actually bank. It's pieces of money you can bank. My question is, what is your strategy to collect, to go from 2 in 10 to 3 in 10? Because if you go from 2 in 10 to 3 in 10, that's a 50% increase in revenue. That's huge, right?
Yeah.
But what is the strategy? Can we talk about a strategy to go from 2 in 10 to 3 in 10? That 3 in 10, that impact, that extra 3 grand a month, that's 36,000 a year, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Over the next 3 years, an extra 100 grand to the business. So you can break things down into numbers that are actually meaningful and real. All you're trying to do is start a conversation. That's what you want to get into, right? Hey, let me teach you exactly how to get leads on demand, or let me teach you how to automate your sales process. That's the easiest offer you make. Let me teach you how you can automate the entire sales process. Would you like to see how you can automate the entire sales process? And map it out, right? Talk it out. Imagine a customer comes in and they get an email, a text message, and a voice drop letting them know that you can help them with their roof automatically, right? Then they get an automatic appointment opportunity. Then they've got automatic follow-ups. So once you send a quote, it triggers off, right, the ability to follow up the client. Imagine being able to record every phone call. Imagine being able to see every interaction in real time. Imagine what's going to do for your roofing business if you do that. Can I show you how that works? Yes or no? I could make that offer 100 times, 100 times, and make sales in the marketplace.
Yeah.
I'm going to get clients to go, yeah, that sounds interesting, right? Because that's relevant, it's real, it's topical, it's what people are doing in their minds. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So shake it up a little bit. Try something different. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks.
Listen to this. Go back and listen to this, and I've given you probably about 4 or 5 different ideas that you can use to go and engage the market, because they want this stuff. They do want this stuff. They know it will improve. Those that are sitting there getting frustrated, they'll see this and they go, yeah, that'd be really cool if we could do this. But that's what we're doing. You have one of the easiest sales pitches on the planet, Howard. Seriously, it is an easy pitch. It is an easy pitch.
I know.
The thing is, is we need to break the attention in here. We need to grab their attention in here. Just say, hey, is this important or not important? Right now, are you collecting revenue? Are you trying to maximize your pragmatic revenue from every dollar? You're squeezing everything you can as a business. Is that important to you? Yes or no? If it is important to you, then I would imagine automating a process would make it better. Would it make it better? Would it make it worse? It would make it better. Now, the cost of that, if that cost was a direct ROI and not a physical cost, would that be a good thing or a bad thing? That'd be a good thing. Great. So would it make sense to have a look at a system that would completely automate that process? Yes or no? Yes. Now, if it was an easy way to have that done for you, so you don't have to think, you'd want to know about it, wouldn't you? I could have that conversation with 100 people today, Howard, and I know out of 100 people, 30 people will go, okay, yeah, you got me. It makes sense. Because then once you get into that conversation, Howard, then they think you're a brain surgeon. They go, holy crap, you can do that. Yeah, we can do that. Right? All automated, all done.
Yeah.
Set and forget. Right? And monitoring and projection. You can do that, and that's what you can do. Okay.
Yeah, I gotta pick up the phone more.
Yep. You got to talk to human beings.
Yeah.
Not computers.
Yeah. Oh,
thanks,
okay.
Howard. Appreciate you.
All right. Thank you, John.
In. You're welcome. All right. So Andrew Tutio and Mike Corso, I'm going to answer your questions here. Andrew's asking me, Soups, you start by picking a niche. Should you? If I was just starting out, Andrew, I wouldn't pick a niche. I would just go and get a client. I would think about what type of businesses that I could help, and I'd let the niche pick me rather than me to pick the niche. I want to get results as quickly as possible. I want to go and help people. If there's a group of people that you can help, or there's types of businesses that would benefit from what you do, go to those businesses and say, hey, can I show you how this works to get the result that you're looking for to solve this problem? And then somebody's going to say, yes, that's going to be your first. The idea is you got to go get clients. You got to get them now. You got to eat, right? So don't get caught up in, oh, I've got to pick a niche and because you're going to have to go through some learning curves, and you're going to do that anyway. You might as well open your broad, receptive opportunity to associates, connections, alumni, all those sorts of things. They're the people that I would go after first, right? So then if you get a result for somebody, well, now you've got a niche. You understand what it took to get there. You understand what the process was. You understand what the outcome was, and you're getting results. I was talking to a guy today. He's working with a kitchen remodeler. Funnily to speak, kitchen remodelers. Working kitchen remodeler. They spent $1,500 on Facebook ads, and they sold 4 kitchens at $2,000 a pop. So $1,500 on ad spend, $1,500 on management, $3,000. Spent $3,000, made $80,000. $3,000, 80,000 gross. Now, if we talk about 30% margin, they made for $3,000, they made $25,000 gross profit. That's a pretty good deal, right? That's a good return on investment. That's a case study. So now he can go to other kitchen remodelers and say, listen, I got a kitchen remodeler 4 deals this month. Their investment, that was roughly $3,000. Can I show you how that works? Are you interested in doing the same deal, right? And that would be an easy sell into a niche once you've got a result. So yes, picking a niche is very important. If I look at the most successful businesses, they are, but most people spend too much time trying to pick a niche, and then they spend too much time trying to figure out how to work the niche. And you don't need to do that. There is a whole process that you go through. I will talk about it on these podcasts in terms of a topic. But yes, to answer your questions, I would rather, if you're kind of starting out, go and get a paying customer. Go and get somebody to pay you for what you deliver as a service. It doesn't matter if they pay you $500. It doesn't matter if you pay you $1,000. It doesn't matter what they pay you. It doesn't matter if they pay you $200. Get paid for something that you offer, Andrew, when you're starting out. Do the work, get a result, maybe keep that client on board and keep helping that client if you get a result, increasing their investment in your services, and then go and get the next person, go get the next person. Once you've had about 4 or 5 clients, Andrew, then you're going to start to get into the angle of how you help people to get the result, right? And ultimately, right, what you're trying to do is from there, if you get a result, then you've got a niche. Then you go, well, I'll help this person. And then you can go and help a whole bunch of other people just like them to do exactly the same thing. That's one way that you can enter yourself into a niching situation. But if I'm just starting out, man, I got to eat. I'm just going to go and help anybody I can. And that's going to give me a bit of an experience to get things happening, to build some processes, to do some onboarding, to learn. And then I can actually expand from there. So Andrew, I hope that answers your question. Should you pick a niche? You don't need to. There are many full service agencies that don't actually have niches, right? but it does help. If you're right at the very beginning and you've got, you really know your stuff and you know you can get a result for a particular niche, then Andrew, absolutely go for the niche, go and tell them you can get a great result, go get a client. So that's what you want to be doing. Mike Corso, I don't know if you're still here with me, man, but if you've got a microphone, I'd love for you to unmute. Ed, thank you. I've got your message. I am going to respond to that message. But Mike, you've got a pipeline of 10 to 12 warm to hot proposals that need to close 5 or 6 so that, thanks, man, I appreciate it. But if you hear Mike somewhere in here, I'm just trying to look at the views in the gallery. Mike Corso, are you with me? No, Mike's disappeared. So what I would do, so if Mike, you're going to listen to this recording, I'm going to help you anyway very quickly. I'm going to move on to the next person here in Ed. So Mike's got, you've actually got deals on the table. For me, I'd be asking them to get going. I'd ask them, my biggest question would be, look, are you interested in getting that project up and running? Can we get started is the first thing that I would do for all of those people. The thing that I would do is almost do a presumptive close. Hey, let's set a start date for this project. I've got 9 a.m. on Monday open to start, or Wednesday at 11 o'clock. Which day suits you best to get this started? If you've been in the proposal game, you've got to ask people, do you want to go ahead? If we're going to go ahead, when can we go ahead? If you want to go ahead, put a deposit down so we can lock it in and get this thing going and close the deal. So you've got to ask people to get started. If you've got a proposal out there, ask the question, hey, can we get this started right now? Hey, we talked about this outcome to get this thing going. Let's get phase 1 started. Let's get the onboarding process going and let's get this happening for you. Actually ask for the sale, Mike, you will get the sale. If you've got 10 or 12 opportunities, I know that you can probably close the deal within the next 24 hours if you just went and asked everybody, say, hey, how are we going? We went through this process. You said that you're interested. Love to know if we can get this started. Just ask them. Are you interested in getting started? That's the easiest thing you do. You can go and close deals now, right? So Ed's asking me, hey, John, it's been a while. Good to see me here. Thank you, Ed. I really appreciate that. Do I have a done DFY that can buy from you to get targeted leads for either LASIK, med spa, regenerative medicine? Do I have a buyer's list or somebody who has that list? Personally, Ed, I don't, but I know people who can actually generate those types of leads for you in service. There's a few people that I know. If you private message me, I can share a couple of people for you, but nobody's going to see that list, Ed, unless you're willing to pay 5-10 grand for a targeted list, maybe more, right? Then my answer would be absolutely. But really the quality of that it's not hard to get those lists. And there are people right now in the market, Ed, that actually have those lists that you can directly go buy. I know people on Upwork that have got those lists. Just put a post in Upwork and say, hey, has anybody got a current list, last 3 months, LASIK, regenerative medicine, chiropractor, whatever? I'll guarantee you there's going to be somebody who's actually got those lists. Those lists are not, and probably not charge you a lot of money for those lists. So there's plenty of places online that you can buy those lists. There are plenty of list brokers that actually have those lists directly. You can either rent or buy those lists. So to answer your questions, yes, you've got multiple options to do that in the market. Just private message me just send me an email, man. John@consultingunleashed.com will be fine. John@consultingunleashed.com will be fine, right? Andrew says, it helps, thank you, I appreciate it. Happy to take any other questions on, whether it be a lead generation question, a lead nurture question, a sales conversion question, a delivery question, or a retain resale upsell question, or if it's a business question, please type in the chat as other people are typing in the chat here. Chat away with me privately. If you're watching this on a live stream, just go to businessunleashedlive.com, register, hop on the live Zoom with me here, and you can interact and I can answer the questions here that we have on this call. So if you want to join me here, feel free to do so. But if you've got a question, just type in the question. Avery, good to see you here. Andrew, awesome. Susan Jenkins, I hope you're doing well. It's good to see your name pop up. Richard French, nice to have you here. Chris, Malcolm, Ansel, Leticia, I hope I'm pronouncing correctly. Miles, good to see you here again. I feel like we've been seeing each other a lot lately, which is good to see. But if you've got a question for me here and you want me to help you, then this is a good place to ask that question. So today we've kind of covered the ground of things like commitment, focus, the clarity piece, setting the milestones, just some of the functional business fundamentals in terms of what we're talking. So on the preceding episodes of these sessions, I'll be talking about things like niching and strategy and all those sorts of things as well. But if you have a question for me, please do ask the question. If you've got a question in the Facebook groups, ask me a question in the Facebook group. If there's something that I can help you with to move the needle, right, to move the needle forward, then please ask that question. Otherwise, I'm going to say thanks for being here, and I hope that you picked up some ideas from some of the conversations we've had here on this session. And so it looks like I'm just waiting for the Zooms to respond. If you have a question, please do. I will be hanging up. Things I'm reading right now, probably one of my favorite podcasts that I would recommend every business owner to listen to is Seth Godin's Startup School. It's 17 episodes of absolute brilliance. I'd highly recommend anybody in the marketing game to listen to that podcast. There's 70-minute episodes, probably some of the most realistic and pragmatic business advice you'll ever get from one of the masters of the universe and gurus. Something I'm reading right now is Cameron Herald's Vivid Vision. It's a great book on getting super clear about crafting the idea of mapping your business out over a few years period and sharing that vision with your team, with your customers, with people around, so they see what you're working on. And ultimately what happens is people show up and they want to help you achieve your vivid vision in the marketplace. Another thing that I always get a lot of fun reading is Jeffrey Gittermore's Sales Bible at the moment. There's a lot of tactical things on sales that you can use to help you in your business. You should always be spending some time consuming some form of literature to improve your skills, your thinking, and your knowledge and understanding. It's something you want to get into a routine to. I always have my references that I go to, but at the end of the day, I'm always looking to implement what I learn. So if you've got anything out of today, if you've been joining me here live in this call, I'd love to know what you've learned or what you've picked up from what I've shared this morning, or anything that's jumped up for you that I can help you with. Feel free to do so. Otherwise, please ask your questions. If you've got no questions, it means your business is doing really well. You're very successful. You're homing it and you're zoning it and all is good. If you've got no questions, I cannot believe that we have so many successful multi-gazillionaires here who don't have any business questions for me.
I got a quick question for you.
All right, Howard.
About your podcast, are you going to do the intro music and edit and all that stuff for it?
Yeah. We're going to play with that in the iTunes library when we do that. But you know what? I kind of like to get things up and running, and I really don't care about all that stuff in the early stages. I'm a kind of let's just get up and go. And I thought a good opportunity for this podcast is just to go live in my platforms to start it. And then if I can go there every day, it's going to be a piece of content every day. If I show up every day, I can share my experiences, my knowledge and understanding, and the conversations. So to answer your questions from a production point of view, will I do an intro and outro? Absolutely, I will do an intro and outro. There'll be show notes and all those sorts of things. We'll be doing all of those things. I have people that actually do that for me or can do that for me. For me, I'm always gonna push that out to a who rather than a how. But if you, as you know me, for me, I just want to do things, and I'll just go and do them haphazardly, raw. Let's just get into it. Don't wait. Don't polish it. Don't make it sexy. Just do it, right? And I'm going to get feedback. Some people are going to say, "This is awesome, John. I love this," and some people can say, "It's pretty ordinary, average." I'm going to get my haters, and I'm going to get my lovers, and all those sorts of things. But if I didn't do what I did, and if I didn't really care about what I did, then I wouldn't be sharing this with anybody. So I appreciate you asking, and I appreciate you hanging out, Howard. But look, at the end of the day, I'm a big believer in just getting it done.
You might want to get one of those little ring lights that plug into the USB port, powered by that.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I'm actually outside. I was trying to use the natural light of of what I'm in. I'm actually probably in a bit of shadow here. It's a bit of shade. Other podcasts I will be on, there will be probably a little bit more lighting. You'll notice if I get closer to the camera, there's a little bit of sun, a little bit of lighting here. But yes, lighting is important. Audio is important. Hopefully my audio is coming through loud and clear. My streaming isn't working at the moment. For some reason, my streaming isn't 100%, but it is out there. I know that it is going live on some platforms, which is good to see. But I will be massaging this message and getting this looking a little bit more sexy than it is. But yeah, thank you for asking. Thank you for the share.
All right.
Howard.
So, okay. Yeah.
Richard French.
You're going to let us know when it's
I've got a
published?
question. It'll go live, like it's live now. It's like you'll see it on the Unleash Consulting Unleashed page. You'll see it it's live, so you don't have to wait to get to iTunes. It will be uploaded into Streamlabs and stuff like that, and it'll be distributed to iTunes and all that sort of stuff. But and yes, there will be an email saying it's on iTunes. But right now, you can get this live on my John Logar page, on my Consulting Unleashed Facebook group. If you haven't joined that, it's there. It is in a few locations on YouTube as well, so you can see this on YouTube. So you don't have to wait for the production. It's already up. It's already, as we're speaking live, we're already up. So right. I'm just going to answer Richard French's question here, and then I'm going to bug out, and I'll see you guys same time, same bait channel. So Richard says, when trying to get your first clients, do you like lump sum offers to get cash in the bank faster, or do you try to get monthly fees? Great question, Richard. That's a great question. What I tend to do is just make an offer with you can do project, you can do hourly. There's so many ways you can charge, Richard. You know, you're asking me what I would do if I was just starting out. I would just ask for money, get paid up front. So I would say, hey, let's do Facebook advertising for 3 months. It's going to cost you $3 grand a month, $9,000 plus give me $3,000 or $4,000 in advertising. Give me $15,000. I'll take care of your Facebook advertising for the next 3 months, right? Or that's a package offer, boom, straight away, right, up front. If you want to do recurring, you can break that up into monthly payments. Give me a deposit to start the first month and pay the preceding months. You can split the payments into two. How you want to get paid, Richard, is up to you, right? There's no issue in how you want to get paid, right? You know, it's your business. So my recommendation always is to get paid and just make an offer. And if you're just starting out, just get somebody over the line. Make a ridiculously great offer to help them out, get some experience and run with it, right? Don't get hung up on how much am I charging and what I'm charging. Make a few bucks, you know, charge $500, charge $1,000, charge $200. It doesn't matter what you're charging. The fact that you're actually accepting cash for value is where you want to be, Richard. If you're starting out, go make your first buck, right? When you make your first buck, then go make your second buck, right? And once you make your second buck, then get to your third buck. By the third buck, you're going to start increasing your prices, right? So be mindful, right? Be mindful to just go for it. Make an offer. You know, even if you're sitting in front of somebody and say, listen, why don't we just do this? I'll do you a great deal, and just blurt out a number and say, great, can we do it for that? Get paid, right? You can do this, Richard. I know you can, as most people do. We all start in the same place. I started with my first client 35 years ago, my first customer, right? My first customer came from a connection through a friend. It was a friend of a friend. So I had to a third party or a fourth party referral as my very first client. When I sat down with my first client, I just came up with a random number for the project that I was delivering, right, for my first client. And I was happy to receive that. You know, I was happy to receive that because I just wanted to work. I wanted to give it a go. Like in my first month of business, I made 28 grand in my first month of business, right? And that was with 4 clients in my first month of business. But all I did was just work my network, go and do some project work, and start to establish what I was delivering to the market with my skills. So with that, I'm going to say thank you for being here on this episode of Business Unleashed Live. I look forward to seeing you same time, same bat channel. We're going Monday to Friday, same time. You'll see the link. If you go to businessunleashedlive.com, you'll be able to get the direct link to the Zoom calls here. We are live streaming to multiple channels. If you see me in Consulting Unleashed, the Facebook group, if you haven't joined, go and join it. You'll see me on the YouTube channel, and you'll also see me on the John Logar page. But if you've enjoyed this, look forward to seeing you on our future episodes. Take care, everybody. Enjoy your day.